ears. So take it away, Dave and Mickey.
It's a little bit presumptuous of me, but I'm going to suggest welcome to Dave.
Ed Mickey's, unless you're offended.
Yeah, well, that's actually a segue later on. On Shiny Side Out on WZZR, coming to you from Australia for Revolution Radio on freedomslips.com. It's home to fresh, unfiltered, there's another segue, ideas and conversations in the chat room, and it's also a place to get your merch. This is show number 501.
1 and 500.
Yes, all of the 500s plus one. Did you know that you can not only listen to us online, but you can get us as well on your smart device, not just through the internet browser. There's an app. And you know what? If you're lucky enough to be in the Kentucky area, I think it's still terrestrial radio. So WZZR, grab it, have a listen. If you missed Solaris' show, you're mad, clearly, because you can't do that to yourself. Don't do that. All right? Jump into the archives. I think they might be still free, but otherwise, still donate to the station if you enjoy anything. Tonight, Solaris, with her awesome show, like it always is, she had Madeline Rudy. And Madeline Rudy is the host of Life in the Hologram. Oh, I'm putting on an exotic accent. Life in Hologram. And they were discussing world affairs and spirituality. Very cool. So I'd suggest donating around about $5 a month through Patreon to the station. And you can find all the links on the website. That's freedomslips.com. Well, I think Mickey's writing his autobiography. And we acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land. And where I live, it's the Dark and Young, or the Dark and Chung. And Mickey, where is it?
Yeah, I've got people too. I have peoples. I do. They're the right people.
We'll have our people talk to your people. In fact, they already do. So, yes, and we pay our respects to elders past, present, and future. We actually thank them for the use of the land. Mech E, guess what?
Tell me.
I was
Dave O? You're Dave O now.
So, Mech-E, I said that because I've been listening to some of our old shows, and because, we hit the 500 mark, so I thought I'd be a little... I think we know each other well enough now, Mech-E, to reminisce. And one of the things that...
So.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I used that joke yesterday after I met a guy for 5 minutes, and someone said, "Oh, have you met John?" And I said, yeah, we go way back. We can start reminiscing. And it was then like 5 minutes ago. It's very funny.
Yeah. Oh, I remember when we said this. Yes, I remember it like it happened an hour ago.
Yeah, no, 5 minutes, honestly. Dead said 5 minutes ago. Yes, you get old, you have 50th birthday parties, and my neighbor, I feel like, Home Improvement, where the fellow was always over the fence, never fully visible. Remember Home Improvement?
Yeah, I do, actually.
Just say
he went to jail. He was in jail,
Yes, I know he was. Yeah. Not the
fraud.
neighbor.
No.
No.
Not Wilson.
Not Wilson.
Wilson.
Why is there always a secondary character called Wilson?
I don't know. Because Wilson never made it to hero status, is my suspicion.
There you go.
Yes. Hey, what?
The volleyball had a lot more in it. I think they could have written a better character.
I thought there was. I thought it was really brilliant. I really liked it. He's doing another thing. Tom Hanks. It's a post-apocalyptic kind of thing, and
yes.
He's got a dog, but he builds this robot, autonomous, or maybe AI, right? And no, it's in the trailer. I haven't seen it, and it looks interesting. But it did remind me of what was it called, Shipwrecked or whatever it's called.
Yep, Castaway.
that's it, Castaway. It really reminded me of that because there's literally just him, a dog, and a robot. I mean, there might be other people, but I haven't seen the trailer. He doesn't play. See, Tom Hanks doesn't play well with others. No, this is not an ensemble movie. This is just a Tom Hanks movie. No,
and to be honest,
Tom Hanks.
We're not offending Tom Hanks.
No.
Rather.
He can carry, but he can carry a whole movie on his own. He can.
Well, yeah, that's right. It's a monologue. Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be a stage play, right? That's fine. It could be. I am flashing spoiler alert on the screen, which actually requires me to click to make it flash. That's the kind of technology we're working with here. It's rather reminiscent, Mickey, of the Red Dwarf series, where they're only in Starbug, which is a small vessel to commute between the big one and the planet's surface, rather like a shuttle. And he said, red alert. And he goes, are you sure? And it's clearly a red alert situation. And he goes, "What? Why do you ask?" He goes, "Well, it does mean changing the bulb. To change the bulb to be a red bulb for the red alert."
It makes you wonder. Really?
Yeah. I'm going to question that call on the red alert. Why? Because I got to change the bulb. Yeah.
Crazy.
Hilarious. That's. You could almost call that another segue for the stories we got. Honestly, Etna is going crazy in the volcanism department. La Palma's going off. Did you see the Japanese, the largest volcano in Japan, just had a little dummy spit?
Yeah, there was a bit of a burp. Yeah.
Yeah, it burped. Yeah, but it was I thought I was really Don't get me wrong. There's so much disaster going on in the world. I wanted some, like dash cams. I watch dash cams till I get a headache because of the inability of some people to drive. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Because it really hurts. It hurts my brain to watch such terrible drivers get out there and without any consequence, just,
I think I need to buy you a t-shirt, Dave.
Man are dangerous.
No, the t-shirt says, I see stupid people. All the time.
I see stupid people. It turns out the people I see are dead. That's right. Now the the pyroclastic flow, and it's not plastic, it's clastic. So pyroclastic collapse of that burp from the Japanese volcano. I really wanted there to be some carnage. I'm sorry. It's just, you watch so much stuff online. That's all I watch online now, is everything online. I watch everything, and there's nothing. I had to take out my morbid fascination with seeing the wrong things to start watching Squid Game, which in fact I love.
Have you watched it? I'll be honest. I've seen the memes and it has been discussed.
You must watch it, Mickey.
Really?
Yeah, completely.
I'm the kind of guy that if you say you gotta watch it, I will never watch it.
Yeah,
I will never read that book.
I still haven't seen Titanic.
Oh, you gotta watch it, Dave.
No, don't you dare.
No, you know what? Completely missable.
Yeah, it is.
Missable.
It was like when I watched.
Like you don't know what's gonna happen.
I watched Pearl Harbor, and you know what? That last 10 minutes of footage, they could have just done, like the Matrix, how they do the time dilation sequence. If they just did that last half an hour, or the last 20 minutes, or 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever that last bombing scene was, if they did that in time dilation, I would have watched the whole movie. Because all the story meant nothing to me. Absolutely nothing. It's fabricated.
And it's like that's yes, it is.
Yeah, they took certain liberties here and there, and I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
It's called Pearl Harbor. I know
Yeah.
what's going to happen. Just show me the action scenes.
Yeah,
It would have been great, Mickey. But
I know.
But that movie making's not what it used to be. There's a segue for you.
Yeah, I know, right? Like,
This week, what happened? What happened to qualified armorers? I don't know. That's a good question to ask.
How do live rounds get into a prop gun? Is what I want to know.
Well, they kept saying someone was shot with a prop gun. Well, you can't.
Well, that's the thing.
Well, apparently you can.
So either the ammunition was prop and the gun was real, or the gun was prop and the ammunition was real. If the last case, you're right. Very unlikely for anyone to kill anyone, because normally in prop, and I've been part of the theater. You see, I'm a thespian at heart.
Thespian.
And what happens? Because I was interested, I wanted to know what happens. They file down the firing pin, right? If it's a revolver, for example, right?
Yep.
Or it's in fact it's a solid barrel. So it
That's
only
right.
shoots
Another
blanks.
gun, yeah.
Yeah, it makes like noise and stuff. And I actually used to have guns like that as a child during Carnival, which is sort of like Halloween in Germany. You can buy all these things, and
there are
what we
different
used to do is
kinds
we
of
used to
armorers.
drill.
Yeah, good ones and bad ones, I'll tell you.
Yeah, we used to drill through the barrel because
Yeah.
it's blocked, and then you put your little pop ammunition in. And actually, the fire comes out of the barrel. It's so
Nice.
cool. Anyway,
well, see, I actually have gone all the way through that and looked into it, and there is the person who was the armorer on set that day. A ton of staff had already walked off due to another issue, walked off the set, leaving very few people behind. And there is some hearsay that said he'd been to the gun range and put his gun down on the counter. Right?
Yeah.
His own weapon down on the counter. But the gun was handed to him by the armorer, whose job it is to load new blanks into it. So there one, I don't know what kind of movie it was, or what kind of gun. Was it a revolver, or was there one?
No, it was a 6-shooter. Like it was a Western.
It's a revolver. Right?
Yeah, like maybe called Peacemaker. I don't know what, but it was definitely a revolver. Yeah.
Right. So that might have been one in the chamber, but needless to say, I think we haven't seen the end of that. Now, if I was a writer writing this as a murder mystery, which it isn't, if I was doing that and I was one of those staff, I'm not saying this is the case. This is my fictional scenario as a...
I smell a theory.
Yes. But if someone was walking off the set and loaded the gun and put one in the breech so that it would just appear to be accidental, but then it couldn't possibly have been.
That's a pistol. The revolver has
Yes, I know. They're only in the revolving component of it. Yes, that's right. I get it. There isn't one in the breech. I get it. Unless it was a Glock.
Not in a Western. 19th century. I brought the Glock. I win every fight. What are you, bringing a Peacemaker? Cold Peacemaker to a Glock fight? Fool! Ho.
I heard my boy's 9 shell falling to the ground. Yeah. Ice baby. And yeah, okay. So look, like that makes total sense. You could have, if there was one in there, they all look the same from the back. So whether it's they don't color them because it's got to be on film. So they're all brass-looking things, and they don't have the firing pin filed down in the case if it's a blank, because it fires just like normal. But I still have to question why they were angled at such a position for the cinematographer to take a full hit from it.
Yeah.
So
but
it's sad.
question,
I just have to say it's so sad, and I wish it never happened.
No, look, same. But the question is this here, right? I mean, okay, so a person is dead, another person is wounded.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
that
a
was
fact.
the assistant standing just behind them.
Yeah. So that's a fact. Now the question is this: I mean, because somebody is dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who is going to wear this now? Who's to blame? What is the legal situation? I mean, Baldwin clearly, I'm sure he didn't want to kill anyone. I mean, he shot the gun, thinking it's a toy gun, more or less, right?
Yeah, it's a prop gun.
so-
Yeah, that's right.
But who? I mean, we have to follow this. This has to be followed down the chain. Who put the bullet into the gun, or who put bullets into real bullets? That is into a real gun, and gave that to Baldwin, or left it where Baldwin picked it up, or whatever. Because that needs to be found out.
Yeah. So if you're an actor on set, your job is to act. Your job is not the armorer's job, and I don't want to put this too heavily on the armorer. Of course, it is their responsibility to ensure that only, the correct rounds are in the gun you're handing to the person who's going to fire it. So I dare say that there'll be an inquiry, no doubt. If they can't all be worked out to be an accident, something must have. There was a set of circumstances that led to the firing of the gun, leading to occasioning death and an injury of another. So my thought is they'll put it onto the armorer, and Baldwin might get, because he's still guilty of firing the weapon, occasioning death. But he wasn't, I think effectually they won't find that he was responsible, and that his action should not be construed as an act of, what's it called? Not self-defense, the other one. Not murder. Oh,
manslaughter.
Yeah, I think that'll be dismissed. The manslaughter charge.
Brandon Lee, Bruce Lee's son, died in very similar circumstances some time ago now, right?
Yeah,
almost.
right.
And there was a lot of foul. Well, people thought it was foul play because he was Bruce Lee's son, but in his case, he was accidentally shot or wounded by a defective piece of blank ammunition.
Yeah, right. So a projectile shot out of a blank.
Something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So that was in the movie The Crow, if you all remember.
I remember The Crow. Yeah.
So he died. Yeah, he died in that. And again, it was Bruce Lee's son, and Bruce Lee, of course, got the entire Asian or Chinese, specifically martial arts world against him when he started teaching, the round eyes and then so forth.
He taught his version of martial arts. Yes.
But to people outside.
I know. You're right. Absolutely right. Yes.
Anyway, but it's odd when these things happen. You always wonder. I mean, how could this possibly happen, right? I mean, it's always. It boggles the mind. It really does. Because, we watch movies all day long, I'm sure, and we've seen, I don't know, thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of shootings or guns being fired in movies. Yeah. And this just doesn't happen, right?
It doesn't happen very often as a percentage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But look, if there was someone disgruntled on set, they could have tampered with the weapon, and the poor armorer gets the blame, right? That is one outcome or one scenario. The other is, I think they'll rack it up to be an accident. But someone, whether they find a person or not who put the round in there, and we don't know how many rounds were put in there, and just clearly only one is required to be fatal. So look, it's terribly sad. I thought we just quickly discuss it because. With all of those guns fired in all of the movies I've ever seen, the opportunity for that to be the case in all of those movies was there.
Mm.
But it never happened. So remember, you need a motive if it's intentional, and you need the thing with you with the motive and an opportunity to do it. All right. So I think that's very interesting that those three things all came together then. For it to be the outcome. Like, it's so sad. But I want to move on. I just want to quickly touch something, Mackie, which we haven't spoken about for a while. And the reason why I was pronouncing your name earlier was because of one of our guests calling you Mechi.
Oh, it's a Mechi. Yeah, come on now. Eat the carbonara pasta. Hey, you like it? Come on, Mechi. Come over here. What you do? Huh? Red sauce. Come on.
That's Mechi's natural response that you've never heard before, clearly, to being called Mechi. So
it's okay. Don't worry about it. Forget about it.
Forget about it. How you doing? How you doing?
I'm doing.
So, I wanted to highlight something really astounding here, and because Australia's hit its nationally 73% or something, but we'll hit 80, by in a week's time or something, 80%. Now those countries that have opened up, or those like the US who have not quite hit any of the targets for vaccination, and there's some challenges around that, which I'll get into in a minute. One of those things is the amount of new cases and the amount of deaths. I just want to bring that up because I stare at these numbers on a daily basis, and I'm rather surprised when I have a look, when I've discovered that the UK has a very strange proportion of new cases to deaths. They've got 300,000 new cases a week with 900 deaths.
At least now we know what's acceptable.
It's 300 to 1. Okay. That's the deaths have opened up after being, vaccinated. Yeah. The US has 600 to 11. And they're not fully vaxxed. And as I'll get into some issues that are coming up there with some White House audio leak. Turkey has a 200 to 1 or 200 to 1.5. And Russia has 211 to 7. So when I look at these numbers, I'm saying Russia is having a real hard time with the virus right now. And 211,000 to 7,000 dead in a week. There's a whole bunch of reasons that we've spoken about this a lot. It's about your availability of medical care. It's how overwhelmed the hospital system is, and if you've got a sufficient hospital system, which allows or caters for enormous amounts of people going into ED, which I'm familiar with now, first name basis with ours here. Then the other people who aren't getting seen to with their regular problems that they might have, and all of the other, when you nominate to get something done by choice, those people, or the people who are in a queue for an operation that's not specifically life-threatening, like knee or hip replacement, etc. So all of those knock-on effects. But Russia seems to be having one of the hardest times. Certainly in the top 4 of all the countries in the world, they're the hardest hit by numbers.
Yeah, it looks that way.
That's pretty crazy. Now, they're talking about Australia opening up, and everybody in Australia is like, "Yeah, let's do that." All the hospitals are bracing themselves.
So let me be clear on that. Not everybody is like, "Yeah."
No, they're not. No.
And all the medical professionals I know are not. In fact, I know the medical professionals in my family and friend circle have opted not to send their kids back to school.
That's right, because it's going to be the biggest spreader of the virus.
Yeah,
everyone else is so cautious.
Yeah,
there's very few people throwing caution to the wind on this one.
Yeah,
and I think it can't be overstated.
And why is that, Dave? They're losing money. The money people are losing money. That's right.
And that is the big push for why we're going to open up.
Yeah.
Now, the government is spending so much money on the subsidies for people who are out of work. And the government doesn't want to spend the money on it. So they want everyone vaccinated so they can just open up. But what's going to happen is they're just going to be reallocating that money to somewhere else. Because the medical system is going to really have a hard time with what this is going to what shape it's going to look like when it's done. The Singapore, and what was the other one? Oh, I forget now. There was another one that opened up and had a really hard time with it. So I can see, Mackie, that the chat room is going great guns here with all of the Baldwin issue.
Yeah, I didn't know he was a gun-controlling liberal. I had no idea.
Yeah, but apparently
because-
he'd been down the shooting range with his own weapon.
Well,
So-
he's all his movies are well, most of his movies are extremely violent. There's a lot of gunplay.
So he's a gun-toting, gun-controlling liberal.
Yeah, so it seems. No, really, Chetram, I'm sorry, I had no idea. I don't really follow the Hollywood people at all. I don't really care what they do or what they don't do. I didn't
He's
know
got a
he was.
hotline to the Kardashians.
Yeah, I mean, if hopefully no one is telling me that Arnie is or Charlton Heston, because I know
Yeah.
Charlton Heston was the president of the NRA.
He was, yeah, that's right.
But I don't think he's a gun controller, right?
Yeah, that's true. Anyway,
Oh,
so
man.
I wanted the vaccine thing to segue into the White House audio leak that I've discovered, and I didn't discover it. It's out there in the media. No harm done. But what it is the White House audio leak, DOJ, Department of Justice, pretty much the government, suggests that religious freedoms, this is all captured in a conversation which I won't play, but you'll be able to find it online. Religious freedoms may be argued to become in the benefit of becoming exempt from the vaccine mandate. So they're trying to force the vaccine on everybody, as they are everywhere in the world. But using your religious freedoms argument is what this discussion was all about. And now this of course is in the USA, and while the Pope said that everyone can get the vaccine officially from his perspective for his people or his peeps, it is now understood that aborted fetus cells or lines of fetus cells
my God.
from aborted fetuses were used for either testing or used in the vaccines. Now, I'm not going to name them because those unnamed vaccines are available, the ones they were using in the US, that's what I'm saying. Now, the audio goes on to also suggest that the government cannot question the sincerity of a person's religious beliefs to force them to take the vaccine. As this plays out, the world will be watching. Because people were attempting, I think in New York, they actually had a sub-clause that prevented people from using religious beliefs to become exempt. Intentionally. But to be honest, if you're an anti-abortion person, then you could take a stand on this. Is what this conversation sounded like to me. And this was a legal person, representing the legal side, saying, you know what, I know that you can do what you want to do.
So, two points to this. Number one, this reminds me of our first or second show, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
First or second show, 10 or maybe years, maybe longer ago now. Do you remember Pepsi? Pepsi. Do you remember Pepsi?
Yes.
I think
Partial
it was Pepsi
credit.
Max. Partial credit. Woo! Hey, look at you. Right,
Yes, that's right, because they're the fetus cells.
Correct. They used,
Yes.
they also used, they used it in taste trials or flavoring or some crazy thing, right? And that's a fact too. So Pepsi did use fetus cells in the production of
I'm
Pepsi
actually
Cola.
drinking a Pepsi right now.
Oh, that's not good. You are a cannibal. Yeah, not only was you a baby eating cannibal is what you are. But got some fava beans there.
Yes.
But the second point here is, that there is precedent for refusing medical treatment of any kind, especially in the United States, because
you're unvaccinated.
no.
Oh.
It's not the
Because
not a
that question
vaccination
came up as well.
Yeah, no, but this is around, but it goes, it's extended to that as well. For example, if you're a Jehovah's Witness, for example, you're not allowed to receive blood transfusions. You're not allowed to mix your blood with anyone else's blood, and by extension, you're also not allowed any foreign, substance into your body. So no drugs, no coffee, no alcohol.
Yeah, good luck with that.
No vaccines.
That sounded like the dodo bird, Mickey.
Yeah, in a way, but
It's the human version of the dodo.
Yeah, it is right. No, but the point here is that you're not allowed to discriminate against those people. That's their belief. So if you're
Sure.
I think Mennonites, I think the Amish, definitely Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm not sure about Mormons, but if you've got a belief system like that, then no one can force any of this stuff on you. They can't. It is your right to refuse based on religious grounds.
Wow. There's a person in the chat room, Meki, that all I see when I read that name of Flea Cali is I'm going back to Cali.
Going back to Cali.
I'm going back to Cali. I don't think so. I love LL Cool J, by the way. Yeah. So, wow. Yeah. Look. It's these discussions and the liberties, because I have to say, it's maybe not the same, using the same way or with the same definition, but I'm quite the libertarian. I want to say that in a way that, and I'll discuss it, and that is that I think we should have and keep our personal liberties. And I know Meki agrees in a way, and that is that the governance should be a governance layer that doesn't extend to the people's businesses, like the business of the people's going about their business.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the ultimate way that government should play. But Maggie, I was having a discussion with he's not in the chat room today, but a friend of mine, he actually listens to the show weekly, about the oligarchy. When the government creates itself as an oligarchy by an insulated layer where rules, and then they've got their own set of rules pretty much. Well, everyone has all of the citizens have rules, and they don't quite have the same rules, or it's very minimum, and there's no oversight on whether they're obeyed or not, right? When that is created, then the separation, the gap, just escalates, and you end up like the Hunger Games thing, where there's just these super elites, and then there's everybody else, all the bottom feeders, right? And we're kind of seeing that again, where in Australia, one of the persons had $1 million donated to them anonymously. And it's just a quick look up. All you have to do is go to the bank and say, where did that money come from? And they can see the transfer. It's not awful. They can't make contact with them, but they can see it. Right? And that's all it takes, And there was 2 MPs that received money, but one had them all listed out. And while the group is listed, it's the contents of the group or the individuals that are party to that group are anonymous. So they're not anonymous. The group with the masks and the funny talking and reading those text scripts, they're not that person. They have chosen to remain anonymous, and that is wrong. Because you imagine that's the thin edge of the wedge. They go, wow, that worked. Cool. Let's just send everybody in Parliament an anonymous payment from an anonymous group, and we can just get stuff done. Because I could, you meet up with them and go, hey, that, the exact amount, $1 million and 52 cents. That was me. Yeah, right. Cool. What do you need? I want a gun club updated, right? And the latest premier is now in the latest premier. We've only got 3 premiers till Christmas. The latest premier right now is actually he's in the middle of a very similar thing. Remember the gun club thing for Gladys, the alleged gun club donations? Yeah. Well, there's another one.
The gun club funds, they did happen.
They did happen. Yes.
Were they? Was there some kind of underhandedness? That's the question here, right?
Well, yeah, she was dating the guy that was there. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Well, that's what they said. I don't know. He was. Yeah, I would like to say I don't know whether that's true or not. But anyway, so the current premier, who's only just stepped in to replace her, is he's in the middle of something else, which is like I don't know, 8 times more money. So
Yeah, but he's a muppet. I'm sorry, he's a massive muppet, and he had just what cemeteries, Catholic cemeteries.
Yeah, that's right.
$1
Yeah.
billion worth of Catholic cemeteries.
uh-huh.
What? I mean, it's just everybody's got their own agenda. So they get into power. People somehow heave them up to the top of the hill, right? Heave up, and you're sitting up there. You're pooping, and there's all kinds of stuff rolling down the hill. I'm up here now. I can eat all the bananas. And then people say, "Hey!"
filth over here.
I know. Hey, remember me? I heave the hardest. You better give me something in the cemeteries. Oh, here's $1 billion
That's right.
for your cemeteries. Hurrah! And you know what the funny thing is, though, Dave?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I did a lot of research into this. So there are 2 things. Number 1, pork barreling.
Yes.
That's what this is.
That's
It's
what
not
it's called.
illegal. Number 1. Number 2, Australia, not Bogota or Zimbabwe, okay,
Yeah.
or North Korea.
Here comes the stretch. Yep. I can
Australia.
hear the lesson band stretching.
I know, right? Australia has the worst
Yes.
in the world.
Yes.
In the world, donation laws of anyone.
Yeah, that's right.
We have the worst. No control. We don't even have a national, like a federal,
No.
anti-corruption body. That doesn't exist. No. And now they're saying, oh, we shouldn't have one. And if we do have one, then that body shouldn't be allowed to do anything either. And nobody can ever talk to them. So there can't be any whistleblowers. So, oh yeah, but other than that, it's going to be awesome. What?
Other than that, they're going to keep everything in tip-top shape, right? So yeah, that's right. So it's like having chewing gum. It's like buying toys and leaving them in the box and never playing with them.
Yeah.
I have to say that all my daughters have tons of those little pop vinyls, and they all remain inside their boxes. And they go, look, I've got one of those. And I go, yeah, that's great. I can see you got one of those. Yeah. See what she goes, what I do, I line them all up, I take a photo, I send it to my friends, and I go, don't get me one of those for my next gift. Right.
Whatever you do.
Don't get one of those ones. Because I got those ones, right? Yeah, with like 10,000 different versions, you can buy whatever you want. Anyway. Look, with all of the crazy stuff going on, I really wanted to lighten it up today and mention that the awesome Jetsons flying go-kart
I know, right?
is a thing.
It's a thing now.
It looks so agile.
Mm-hmm.
It's a U-Drive human-sized 4-motor drone, and it was tested this week, and it looks really sporty, and it could be available for sale really soon. I mean, when I say really soon, they're just doing their flight testing. But unless they put guards on those rotors, that's basically, a protest munching machine.
Well, how low can we go? 1 meter and 50 centimeters off the ground, sir. That'll do.
Yes, that'll do.
5 feet. That'll get most of them. And we won't even be baby killers. Yay!
Yeah, that's right. Gubbers! Yeah, where'd I go there?
But I think that's awesome, though. I really do. I mean, all jokes aside, having said that, though, looking at the state of our traffic as it is today, I mean, in some countries are better than others, but can you imagine
dash
if you add a third dimension to our traffic? Yeah, and you know what? I want to see it in India. I want to go to India when this is released in India.
Geez.
That's where I want to go. I'm serious. First week there, I want to see it.
Meki, what other countries use the lines on the road as pure decoration? Right, India isn't the only one.
Oh, you've got some nice drawings on your road. That's lovely.
Right. What do they mean?
Oh, who knows? But they're so pretty.
It's a four, like in let's say in a US and England and here in Australia, a 4-lane road of 2 lanes in either direction would be 9 vehicles wide of traffic.
Dave, whatever fits.
That's right.
If they could stack cars on top.
I don't picture.
And I've been in that traffic, and I go,
Yeah.
how do you know when to go? Oh, we just go. The driver that we had you need three things. You need a good beeper, a good horn, right?
Yeah. Oh, and that's used
right.
every meter.
That's right. You need good reflexes.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, but most important, you need good luck. I go, wow, but this is the true story. I mean, this is astounding. But
it is.
And the roads are not in awesome repair either. I can tell you that.
No, that's right. Yeah. So look, I've watched a ton because I'm a car guy, right? So I've watched a ton of videos. Completely astounded. I think astounded is too light a word to use. My reaction to how well that traffic actually flows without there being the number of collisions that I would expect to see.
Mm.
It's more like blood platelets moving through plasma in a bloodstream. That's what it's more like. Right? And I've watched, you know, maybe it's an 8-lane road and it's like almost 20 lanes of traffic on it. And there's a little right-hand turn lane, but all the traffic on the road wants to go into that right turn lane. And they've all blocked the entire road up on one side, right? And they keep pushing their quantity of vehicles, not a single vehicle one at a time. No, all of the vehicles have just bent around the road. Now and they continually cut the other side off until they just give in. And then all the vehicles flow. They all flow. Like, oh my goodness. You know, Becky, I don't want to do it to myself, and I told you at the top of the show that I get a headache watching dash cams in our own country.
I hear you.
But imagine watching dash cams there. No. I wouldn't have any nails left.
No.
I'd probably.
But the thing is this, though.
I'd be on a tranquilizer.
As far as reality shows go, I'm surprised that no one has done this yet. I mean, put a dash cam in any car over there. And in fact, there's several countries like that.
Yeah.
And that's the show. That's the show. You're done. Thank you very much. Content for the next 5,000 years. I'm good.
Honestly, it beats the Disney unboxing stuff. Yeah, hands down.
Oh, does it really, Dave?
I
don't get it. I don't get it. I can't even make a comment because I haven't. I don't have a frame of reference.
I've actually watched them, right? Really? I've watched them. I've watched the unboxing videos, and at the end, you don't get the gift. So it's you watch it, unbox it in the first-person view, but then the gift isn't yours.
Yes.
And it's like,
yes.
So it's like the catchphrase advertising for that Disney unboxing should be something like, if you've ever felt like you're in third place, well, come to second place where you don't get a prize. It's you don't even get a participation award.
See, look, in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, there was a character who lost faith in humanity when he found working instructions on a matchbox. Right, so step by step instructions on how to use matches.
Yes.
Okay, and he decided this is it. I'm moving out of this world. And what he did, he turned his house inside out, and his living room was facing the outside world, and the walls, like his outer house walls, were his living room now, if you will. He said, "Now I'm outside of the asylum here now. Thank you very much." So for me, that moment came when I realized that there were unboxing videos out there.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, I don't know what happened, but I'm no longer a part of the society because I don't understand this. Because there comes a part in everybody, like when you realize you're old, right?
Yes.
I guess my parents probably, I don't know, maybe smartphones, or maybe their parents, you know, the record player, who knows? But there comes a point in your life and you go, yeah, I don't get it. I'm no longer part of this world, and I should just be, you know, put on an ice float to float away into oblivion.
If you're an Eskimo, they just leave you outside.
And
if you can't make your way back in, you freeze to death.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, I get the jokes, and I understand TikTok is funny as well, but this whole unboxing thing, I'm sorry, I'm not there.
So my grandmother did the same thing. She leapt off the reality bandwagon with microwaves. She could not, for the life of her, understand how it worked. I knew the physics behind it. I knew the science behind it. I know that water molecules are excited
Yes.
by the radiation or the
Correct.
EM spectrum waves that penetrate through it, but resonate with the water molecules. Right?
Correct.
She didn't understand what the hell I was talking about, and she goes, "But it doesn't even get hot. Like there's no elements." She had an auger, right? She fed it with wood that she had to chop, right? And she had hot plates and things got hot to touch, and you put the thing on it that can't melt, and you put it, and there you go, and you're cooking, right? Yeah. She lost that. Normally in a one's life, the music you just separate yourself from popular music and you don't understand it anymore. The other one is the fashion bandwagon. You can leap like you're doing a stage dive off the bandwagon of fashion to be left behind. So every year you might have bought the latest stuff, and then one year like, I'm not doing that anymore. That's it.
There was this. I saw this 4 or 5 years ago. It was beachwear. It was beachwear, which was literally just a pouch. There was a string around your waist, which had a pouch. And I thought to myself, I'm pretty buff. I'm a buff guy, I can pull it off.
Yeah,
not really.
Not really.
No, that didn't happen.
I'm not going out with what is smaller than a sock on a string. I'm good.
Then the sock for your big toe. No, it's really. See, you look at it and you go, okay,
I kind of work out how it's supposed to work, but I don't think it looks good.
No.
And
I look, but some of the fashion that you see is crazy fashion. No one really actually wears it. I mean, people just want to shock people. Oh, look at that!
Go to Brazil, Mickey, and they're everywhere. Yeah.
Well,
they're
good.
But
that's all good over there. Right hand, supply, nubile bodies. I dig it. I'm with it. But
it's hip, it's new, it's plastic, it's in. It's not Bakelite. So, Mickey, I hear you.
I want the next one. We need go to the next one as well, please. Though definitely we have to do that one.
Yeah, I know. All right, so we've got 6 minutes. Now, this is really important, and Mickey and I have had a show banned, and we've had some strikes. Luckily, we're able to remove those from YouTube through a lot of effort, but we got there in the end. Now, the gender discussions bans on YouTube. Then what does that mean? It means that you can be banned on YouTube for discussing things that are maybe let's put it this way. YouTube bans insults that target race, gender, or sexual orientation. Now, that's really broad, but it's suggesting that it's an insult that's to target those gender types. Now, there was a number of stories that came out, Mickey, where there's 2 specific ones that have caused people's channels to get deleted. And not just strikes, but it was the last strike for them in some cases, and that was the end of that. Now, I have to say, one of the stories, and I'm not saying anything in this except for reading the headline of the story, and I'm making no specific insult to anybody. Don't care what you do with what you have. I don't care if you don't like what you have and you change it to what you want. If you know what I'm saying, don't care at all what you do as long as everything is consensual. That's my point. So it's now an offense on YouTube to suggest that a transgender male in a women's prison is dangerous sexually. That's how you can fall into getting banned, by suggesting that. Now, I didn't suggest it, I just read it. I'm not suggesting a thing. Right?
Thin ice, Dave. Thin ice.
It's very thin, but I'm saying that is something that can get you banned by that's targeting a specific gender type, and putting and insulting them that they could perform an act which would be non-consensual. And I don't think that. I'm very, very careful, Mackie. Oh, the other example was a high school student who was also a transgender male, and I won't even comment any further than that. You have to Google that stuff yourself.
I think what we can look forward to, and I saw a fantastic meme which I will read out in a second. I think what we can look forward to is a great variety of new genders coming through. And look, I honestly, I don't care, because I do know that people identify differently, and I've had a lot of friends that were gay and lesbian, etc., etc. And in some cases, it really felt like that person was born in the wrong body.
Absolutely,
right? And
agreed.
Since I believe the hypothesis to be correct, I think that can happen all the time. Right? The wrong person is assigned the wrong physical body. Sometimes, believe it or not, people are born with both genders, fully functioning genders. That's
true. Yeah.
There's a fantastic
that's a physical duality.
Yeah.
But there's
thing, right?
there's the mind-body separation where and Mackie and I believe in this, and that is you can become reincarnated. You've come here having a tremendous past life probably, and you still remember it, and now you're in a different gender's body. And I think that could, and it's not made up. This is just how people feel about it.
Yeah, and sometimes people are born without any great supply of hormones, and they're sort of asexual. But that exists as well. So I have no issue with any of this. It is of course disturbing somewhat to people that are traditional gender roles, and I get it. And you can probably take it too far as well. But everybody is different, and everybody has got their own feelings, which should be respected. But I do want to read this. Meme, because it just shows you what could happen. The year is 2040. You're eating from your weekly ration tube of cricket paste in your self-driving electric car that only allows you to get to work and back. You get home and greeted by your non-binary they friend as your child comes in saying thinking is a crime. Wholesome. That's the meme. That wasn't my meme, but I just felt it encapsulated the zeitgeist at the moment. But by the same token,
Mackie, the word insult, does that determine, by definition, that there was that someone became offended by it?
But by what?
No, I'm saying in YouTube bans insults that target race, gender, or sexual orientation. So an insult would have to, like, a comment isn't an insult unless someone's offended by a comment, and then it becomes an insult.
See, I agree with you there.
Because it could be through comedy that you've insulted someone or became offended even by just comedy, which is supposed to be laughable, and it's like tracing with a pencil over paper to make a tracing of something.
But you said something very, very important earlier, Dave.
Go.
And this is the most important. No, this is the most important thing that is, in fact, the only thing that matters. You just mentioned it earlier, about 5-10 minutes ago. You said consenting adults.
Yes.
Right? If you've got consenting adults, I don't care what you do.
That's right.
I couldn't care if there's a group of you or a tribe, a mob, one of you, two of you, 7 of you. I don't care. As long as everybody's consenting, right?
That's right.
And that's where we need to draw the line, in my opinion. Anything else, if someone is not consenting, that's a crime.
That is.
And don't go away, guys. We're coming back with the hypothesis, right?
That's right. I'm David Mackie, Shiny Side Out. We'll see you on the other side of this short break.